Okay, Nursultan, then let's start our lesson. Today, why other students are absent, I don't know. Can you see my page?
Ibrahim.
Can you see
Yeah,
my
Ibrahim. Yes.
screen? Okay, then let's start it.
Ibrahim said that he has problems with his phone.
Oh,
Ibrahim said that he has problems with his phone, and he mentioned, like, he said that I should tell you about that.
okay. Anyway, let's start. So in our previous lesson, what you learned? What was our last topic?
We were solving examples of profit and profit maximization, all of these things. Total fixed cost, total variable cost.
No, I'm talking about this week's topic.
Perfect competition.
Yes, it was perfect competition, right? Then can you explain the perfect competition or the definition of perfect competition? Can you explain, please?
Perfect competition describes as a market where there is immense competition. A real world example is that wet markets, fresh food markets, commonly found in Asian countries such as Hong Kong, Singapore, South Korea, Taiwan, and Macau.
So it means what? It is a kind of market structure, right? And how many types of market structure do you know?
3.
Can you explain which kind of market structure we can?
I mean that market structure, like I got it as system, plant economy system, market economy system.
No, market structure is like, there are 2 types of market structure. Actually, 4 types of market structure, but in our book, in our economics IGCSE book, there is written only 2 types of market structures. The main groups of market structure are monopoly and perfect competition. Okay, and in our last topic, we learned in our previous lesson we learned about perfect competition, and today we are going to talk about what? Monopoly. And let's start from the definition of monopoly.
Our last lesson we didn't learn, you just gave us.
But still, you learned it, right? I gave you video lessons, and I gave you what? Presentations. So we had online lesson, not online, offline lesson on EduPage. So still, if you will have offline lesson, you have to learn, and you have to what? Do your homeworks. You didn't have any timetable. Actually, what? Our school administration gave you a timetable, which is written that once in a week we will have one offline lesson, and once in a week we will have online lesson on Zoom, right? And you don't have to learn only when we are having an online lesson, and also still, even we will have offline lesson, still you have to study it. Now let's look at monopoly. Almaz, can you hear me? Because you're keeping silent. So Almaz. Okay. Okay, then let's start from the definition of monopoly. Monopoly refers to a market where there is a single seller and many buyers. In the poor case, entry is blockaded. An industry structure in which a single seller of a product with no close substitute serves the entire market. And monopolies set both price and quantity. And monopolies have no supply curve. A poor monopoly exists if only one account supplies the whole market. The word monopoly comes from the Greek language, with monos meaning one and polein meaning to sell. So here are the main features of monopoly. First one is large number of buyers and one seller. Second one is product without close substitutes. The third one is perfect knowledge. And fourth one is barriers to entry. And last one is no government intervention. So let's look at these features in more detail. So when we talk about single supplier, it means what? Its name suggests a monopolist is the sole supplier of a product in a given market, and this is due to high barriers to entry, which result in a lack of substitutes. And next one is price. Next one is price maker or price setter. So monopolist has significant market power, controlling enough of the market supply that it can charge higher prices, yet produce lower output than would be the case if it faced real competition. So in our perfect competition, what? The price was made by whom? The price was made by supply and demand. And in perfect competition, what? Their feature was about price taker, not price maker, right? But in monopoly, what? Firms are price makers, not price takers, okay? And next one is imperfect knowledge.
They produce their own goods and they only sell it, yeah?
No, in monopoly, they're what? Putting their own prices. It depends on situation. Not everyone is manufacturing, but usually monopolists are selling by themselves, and what there will be only one seller. There will not be any competitors. Okay, or there will be only one seller, and what they can make their own price. But still, it depends. If there will be like no any substitute, and if your price will be too high, still it's hard to sell it, right? Because it also depends on demand. But still, comparing to competition, you can increase your prices. In other words, and when we talk about imperfect knowledge, as its name says, what? A monopolist is able to protect its prestigious position because customers and rivals have imperfect knowledge, and partly as a result of the monopolist's ability to protect its trade secrets. And next one is high barriers to entry. So a monopolist can remain so only if in the long run there are very high barriers to entry. These obstacles effectively prevent other firms from entering the market, or for example, economies of scale of existing firms, ownership of essential resources, the existence of intellectual property rights, for example, patents, trademarks, and copyrights, or advertising expenditure and legal barriers to entry. So this can be an example of higher barriers to entry. For example, how it can make a barrier to entry to other competitors. Because let's say if you have one firm which is very big and which is very large, right? And if you will spend your money consistently for advertisement and for for making brand image, but another firm which will be very small, for small companies, it will be very difficult to enter this market. Why? Because it will cost very expensive for them, for small companies, comparing to big companies, right? Because when you're producing a lot of amount, your advertising costs also will be divided into output, right? So is still they're benefiting from economies of scale, and it will be high barriers to entry to other firms. So this is a feature. And now source of monopoly power, natural and created. So natural is economies of scale, as I said before, and access capacity, and economies of scope and cost complementarities, capital requirements, sales and distribution networks, differentiated products and brand loyalty, created patents and other legal barriers. For example, not everyone can open their pharmacy or educational centers, right? Because you need 4 licenses, let's say, and not everyone can get that license. What you need to do, some you have to prepare some documents or this kind of things. And tying and exclusive contracts and collusion, tacit or open and trial limit pricing. Advantages of monopoly. So here are the advantages. It's shown below. As a monopolist control market supply, they operate on a very large scale, thus benefiting from economies of scale, as I said before. And next one is monopolists have the financial resources to invest in innovation. For example, research and development expenditure can help to generate new ideas, products, and production processes. Let's say iPhone or Apple, right? So Apple's innovative products such as iPhone and iPad have made the company the most valuable business on the planet. And they can take they are not taking prizes, so they are making prizes because they are working as a monopoly. And when they are establishing some new iPhone, which is good for using and which has extra new features, so they can put their price on this product and they can sell for expensive price, right? And next one is some monopolists can eliminate wasteful competition. For example, it makes more economic sense of to have one monopoly supplier of postal services in a town, state, or country, rather than allowing private sector firms to compete to provide such services. This is because profit-seeking firms may not have much of financial incentive to provide services to remote areas of the country. And a single provider can gain huge economies of scale. And what about this one? So second one is when you're monopolist and when you're big company, your financial resources also will be high comparing to your competitors, and it will be easy for them to invest in innovation or in a new technology or for some research results, right? Next one is disadvantage of monopoly. So here private sector monopolies can be inefficient in terms of resource allocation, and high barriers attempt to prevent new firms from entering the market, and this limits the degree of competition. There are no substitutes for the product supplied by monopolists, less choice of product, and imperfect knowledge about prices and products means that consumers may not necessarily make rational choices, and monopolists may have less incentive to innovate than firms in competitive markets. So it depends on situation, right? As I said before, this incentive. So investment on innovation can be sometimes as an advantage for monopoly, but at the same time it can be less incentive to innovate because there is no any competitor. So some firms can think that I don't have competitors, so no need for new ideas, right? And they can stay in the same place. So it is a disadvantage. Difference of perfect competition and monopoly. So here you can see the differences. Perfect competition. In perfect competition, there will be many sellers and many buyers, right? And in monopoly, there will be many buyers, but one seller. And in perfect competition, many perfect substitutes there will be, and there will be almost same. I uploaded on EduPage that example of rice, right? And here what in monopoly, no clauses as substitutes. And price determined by market, not individual sellers. So face perfectly elastic demand. And in monopoly, price determined by only seller, not by demand. So face downward sloping demand. This is the main difference between perfect competition and monopoly. Here you can see from this graph, competitive price and monopoly's price. Here in this diagram, you can see the monopoly and perfect competition. In our first diagram, you can see the perfect competitive market. And this shows a perfect competitive industry, and it produces at the point where industry demand and industry supply intersect. Here, the quantity produced by the industry is Q. Here, QPC. The price charged is PPC here, and consumer surplus is the triangle. Here, you can see PBA. And in our next figure, it shows what happens if the industry is monopolized. So the single firm faces the industry demand curve D and has the marginal revenue curve here. And the intersection of the marginal cost curve and marginal revenue curve indicates the quantity that will be produced. And the price charged Q is P, QM is PPC. Thus, the monopoly revenue, thus the monopoly firm produce less and charge more than the perfect competitive industry. And consumer surplus shown as the triangle is in PCA is smaller than in the monopoly industry, comparing to perfectly competitive market, right? Look at this one and look at this one. And also the area PECP here. What is the consumer surplus in a perfect competition that is transferred from consumer to producer, and the producer surplus is area OFCP here. And the deadweight loss is the area of CFB. Now, we can compare the market structure here in this table. So in our lessons, we learned about perfect competition and monopoly, right? But there are also other market structures like competitive market and oligopoly. Here, look at this one. Number of suppliers. Number of suppliers in perfect competition, many. Competitive market, many. Oligopoly, few. In monopoly, only one. And pricing strategy in perfect competition. Firms are price takers, as I said before. And in competitive market, it is penetration price. In oligopoly, price leadership, price wars, predator pricing. In monopoly, firm is a price maker. And do firms engage in non-price competition? No. Yes, products vary in terms of quality, after-sale care, etc. in competitive market. And in oligopoly, yes. And monopoly, no competition. Are there trade barriers? In perfect competition, there is no any trade barrier, and it is very easy to enter this market. And in competitive market, there will be few trade barriers. In oligopoly, yes, they have there will be barriers, and in monopoly also they have barriers. For today, we already finished our topic, and this will be your homework. So your homework will be from exam practice activities from page 146 and 149 from economics books. And if you want, we can now we can do some activities, guys. Or you can do this activities at home, or you can do it together now, one of them. And thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, please ask.
Thank you for the lesson.
If you have any questions, you can ask, and if you want to do these activities now, you can do it together. And if you want to do it at home, and you can send it by EduPage or by WhatsApp. For today, we already finished our topic.
What is it trade barrier?
Sorry?
What is it trade barrier?
Almas, can you speak a little bit loudly? I can't hear you.
What is it trade barrier?
Trade barrier. Trade barrier is when, for example, when you are entering some new market for running a business, there will be barriers for trading. Which kind of barriers it can be? I already explained actually, but it will be okay. I will explain one more. What? It can be barriers like maybe you need for, let's say, you need for some licenses for running this business, and it will be hard to get this license. Not for everyone will be what not for everyone it can be helpful. For example, in our previous lesson, I explained about what? About a perfect competition, and there was what? No any trade barriers. It means like I gave example of rice, for example, or vegetables, foods, for example. When you want to run a business and when you want to sell fruits or vegetables, you don't need for any license, right? You can just go to your to the market or bazaar in Osh, and what you can sell it, no problem. But if you want to run a business like educational center or what, some consulting, let's say some consulting firm you want to open, you need for license. Or if you want to open pharmacy, you need for license, right? And also not only license, there will be also requirements, some requirements to run this business. Not everyone can open this business. Did you understand now?
Yes.
And also it is only one barrier. It's a kind of barrier. And also there will be other barriers, like as I explained about advertising, right? For example, if there will be one monopolist company, and if he or she wants to advertise his products, there will be what? It will be easy for them. Yes. It will be, for example, if there will be big companies, there will be easy for them for advertising, because what? For example, let's say Coca-Cola or what? Lay's, let's say, or iPhone, they can spend money for advertisement, and they can consistently spend this money for advertisement and for brand image, right? But it will cost very cheap for them because they are what? Producing huge amount of products, right? But if you want to open a new business in this sphere, it will be very hard for you. There will be barriers for you because what? Because if you want to advertise, if you want to spend this kind of money, it will be very hard for you to run this business because it will cost a lot for you. Because what if the monopolist is, let's say, producing 1,000 items, but you are producing only 100 items, so it will be very hard for you. For them, if they will spend 1,000 som for advertisement, and the cost for each product will be only 1 som, right? But if you want to spend the same money, your costs will be what? Increased, 10 times increased than your competitors. So it will be what? It will be work as a barrier to enter this market. And also not only about advertising, and also costs of what? Producing also. Let's say in a market, in our Karasu market, let's say, if there will be one monopolist, if he will bring from Turkey, let's say, and if he is bringing his product from Turkey, from manufacturer and other sellers who is bringing the same product from Dordoy, so it will be what? Hard for other producers, because what? They are getting the same product more expensive comparing to their competitor, right? So usually the person who is getting the product from manufacturer is getting more money. Did you understand, Almas? Okay.
Spending or get
Sorry?
the person who gets products from manufacturer gets spending or more getting.
The person who is
Getting more.
the person who is getting, or who is what? Who is buying from manufacturer, directly from manufacturer, will get more profit comparing to person who is getting the same product from other intermediaries. We learned
Why?
about distribution, right? Distribution of channels. So what if you will buy it from producer, you will get more cheaper, and you will also sell more cheaper comparing to your competitors. So let's say you are getting from producer and for 5 som, okay, for 5 som, and your competitors are getting the same product from intermediaries for, let's say, 10 som, and now you are selling the same product for 9 som to your customers. And what? Your competitors will be what? Bankrupted, right? Because is for them it will be hard to get profit if they are getting from 10 soms. They can only sell their product at least for 11 soms, right? So in this case, what? You are getting more profit, and at the same time your competitors will lose their customers, because customers usually go to the person who is selling the same product more cheaper, right? So in this case, they will be bankrupted, and what? They will lose their customers, and you will be as a monopoly. You will work as a monopoly. Okay? You will work as a monopoly in a market structure, and you will be as a monopolist. Or sometimes you can what? You can produce some product which is unique, and which is something special with special features. So you can sell your product very expensive, but you can be as a monopolist. But in perfect competition, what? There will be too many competitors. For example, you are also producing, let's say, you are also producing, for example, potato, tomato, and your competitors also producing the same product. Especially this perfect competition is more suitable for agricultural products, for example, as they're all producing the same product, so it is very hard for them because there are what huge amount of competitors. Did you understand the difference?
Yes.
Okay, then see you in our next lesson. Please do your homeworks and send me on EduPage, okay, guys?
Until
Yes, until Monday you can send. Okay, see you guys. I will upload this video lesson on EduPage, okay?